about 44 years ago, 43 years ago, I was a little kid, and Mom didn't have Dad. Dad ran off, and we were blessed, okay? But my mom worked 3 jobs. She had 8th grade education. No one in the history of my family ever been to college. I'm the second person in my family ever graduated high school. So the reason why today is important is, and the reason why we wanted to come in here and bring you in here and talk to you is to really try to inspire you. A lot of moms out here, a lot of moms are sitting in this room right now that were just like my mom. Man, you're tired, you're worn out, it's tough. But I'm going to tell you, my mom, what drug me here, I mean, if not for her, the inspiration that she had in my life was phenomenal. Let me tell you, my mom was one of the toughest, hardest people I'd ever in my life. She'd worked 3 jobs, so she didn't get to watch me play. I was a tailback in middle school, and I could run really fast. And I would score, and then I kind of came on to something that I liked, I thought was pretty cool. I would lay down like I was hurt, and then I'd get up and all the crowd would yell, and it was I kind of like that. I was kind of getting to be a prima donna, because football and athletics always came easy to me. And man, I mean, I'm so thankful to God that He blessed me, because so many of the kids that I grew up with, they didn't have a chance. And it wasn't just the talent. You don't just born with talent and you make it. I think that has probably about 10% to do with it. And it has to do with leadership and people in your life. You listen to Coach Patterson and these coaches talk about who inspired them in their life. You know how important that is. Well, my mom at that game, she came to a game, she couldn't come a lot. And I see her, she's kind of waddling down the stands. I'm over there, I'm sitting on the sideline, just kind of faked an injury, got the little applause. And I thought, well, she's coming down here to check on me. And she called me over that fence and she said, you better not ever do that again. She said, if your leg is severed, you get off the ground and you'll fall back down if you're really hurt. But you don't embarrass me, you don't embarrass your family and do that. My mom, many days, I didn't want to go to school. I never missed a day of school through my entire elementary 1 through 6. Got in middle school. Did not miss any school. In college and in high school, I never missed a practice. Now, I was very blessed that I wasn't ever injured. But I'm going to tell you, my mom, as a mom and as a parent, it's so important nowadays. We get so many kids. And again, I'm only dealing with the elite. I'm only dealing with the kids that make it to Arizona State. Okay? And we get so many kids that are very ill-equipped. All right? There's some things that I would tell you that the most important thing that you're going to do for your young person, and I'm not here to try to tell you how to parent, I'm just telling you that, man, I am scared to death in working with young people. Drugs, marijuana is an epidemic. It is not like it was when you were in school. It's whatever you thought it was, it's 100 times worse than that. It scares me to death. And it's not bad kids that are doing drugs. There's a lot of good kids are doing it because of lack of supervision. And basically, the bottom line is the absence of time. My mother worked 3 jobs and still spent time with me. When we ate, we sat at the table. We said grace. I'm not trying to push faith on you, but I'm telling you, man, it played a big part in my life. I've never met somebody with great character that didn't have great faith. Like, you got to believe in something bigger than yourself, right? But what I'm going to tell you is that discipline and structure is the most important thing. If you love someone, you give that to them. Our kids have these things. See, we never had these things. So what was the relationships in my life? And my teachers, my coach, that's why I'm a coach. They had such a huge impact on me. I wasn't connected all over the world. Right? My kid, man, you better be monitoring this. When our players at Arizona State, when they come to the dining hall, there's none of these. When they go to the locker room, there's none of these. And I'm not saying that you take it away from them completely. I'm just saying there needs to be a time when you come together as a family and you pour into your young person's heart. And man, I'm telling you, if you're not talking to them about the tough things, man, if you're not building that relationship, man, I call my mama every night on the way home from work. I'm 50 years old. Every night. And man, you know what? I used to think I was so lucky when I was growing up because I had a mom. I remember being a 7th grader, man, and man, all I had was my mom. I was scared to death. Man, coaches started pouring into me. And the one that changed my life, I played for a lot of Hall of Fame coaches that were great coaches. But the best coach I ever had in my life was a guy that never won a state championship, never won a Super Bowl, never won a national championship, never did anything but coach 7th grade football. Man, he taught me, he gave me tough love. And he taught me, you know what, everybody has a problem. You're a victor or you're a victim. You're a bright-eyed or you're a dull-eyed. You're a giver or you're a taker. And there's no in between. You have integrity or you don't. Now, I've been on both sides of all those things. People say, what's Coach Graham's character? Truly, if we're honest, what day is it? Right? None of us are perfect. I get this a lot, man. I'm going to stand up in this community and say, man, send your kids here. Because my coaches, man, we're going to deal with them. We're going to be men of character. We're going to be a positive role model. And you know what? Man, I get knocked down and I fall down. Man, I make mistakes. I'm human just like you. And people will say, man, I don't want to do that, coach. I don't want to be a hypocrite. Guys that are people that are saying that, they condemn themselves to never having any standards. I want to be held to a higher standard. Period. And that's what we should be doing with our kids. You know, when I grew up in South Dallas, so every 4th word was a 4-letter word. It's one of the greatest challenges I had as a coach. It's hard. And you know what? Buddy Copeland, man, my coach in 7th grade, he could strain you. He could chew you out and hug your neck all in the same sentence. Never dropped an F-bomb. Never did that. You come watch me coach our team. I ain't running happiness camp. I'm gonna tell you, we coach hard. Guess what? Tough people come out of tough times. Man, I want my son. I've got a son 31 that coaches for me, and I've got a son that is 12 years old that I hope I'm around long enough to see him play college football. Right? But when I'm gone, man, I want him to be tough. I want him to know how to get up off the ground. I want him to understand that nothing in this world is given to you. You reap what you sow. You get what you work for. Right? No one's going to put parameters on me. I don't get my confidence from you. Ain't no one out here can take my confidence. And that's what I want to pour into my son. That's what I want to pour into my players. So one of the reasons we wanted to come in here and talk to you today is you are a difference maker. Man, you have a son or a daughter, you have a difference maker. My daughter's 21 years old. She's at OU nursing school. When she got a boyfriend, they had to come talk to me. And she'd say, Dad, that's embarrassing. You know, you live in Arizona. Hey, I'll pay for his flight. My daughter's going to get married. She's going to marry one of our former team captains at the University of Tulsa. And let me tell you this. The first time he asked her out, he came and asked my permission. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, he flew out here and asked my permission to marry her. And let me tell you, man, I mean, that's as good a kid. He's a great kid. Boy, it still was hard to say yes. But what I want you to know, man, is that, you know, she would say, Dad, it's embarrassing. No one else is doing that. I don't care what everybody else is doing. Man, you know, that's our problem. is everything has to be politically correct. Everybody's just doing what everybody else is doing. I'll be real honest with you, man. My job is tough. You know, there's times that, man, you know, we talk about faith, family, and football. If my wife was standing up here, she would say, hold on now, that's football, 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 family, and faith. If I'm not careful. You see, I want to give these kids what my coaches gave to me. And what I encourage you to do as a parent today, speak victory over your kids. See, when I first walked in here, Coach Cassidy told me, he said, Coach, what are you doing? I said, man, our goal here, what's our goal? You hear it all the time. Our goal is to be national champions. I'm not talking about a game. I'm talking about our expectations. We're going to be the best at everything we do. Academics, community, relationships, everything we do, all our standard is we expect the very best from our players in everything that they do, period. We came in here with a 2.2 GPA. 2 years later, we have a 2.88 GPA. You know why? Because, hey man, we're not just coming here and saying pass class. All my career, no one ever asked me to compete in the classroom the way I competed on the field. I wish that would have been the standard. You know, I struggled. I was dyslexic, still am. Dysgraphia, I don't know if you know what that is. My coaches will tell you what that is. I was LD, ADD, I had all the Ds. Okay? But I'm telling you, man, you know what that means? I hate that. And I know a lot of you might be educators and all this stuff. Man, I hate the labels we put on kids. Man, it just means that they learn differently. You know what my mom did? Moms, do this with your kids. And nobody else is doing this. My mother, I had 3 older brothers. My mother made me read 10 pages a day. And as soon as you did that, you could go play. Inevitably, every day, my 3 brothers were gone, and I was still sitting there. When I go to bed tonight, I put my old man pajamas on, and I get a book, and I read. And my mom, man, she was almost torturous to make me do that. But you guys know if you have dyslexia, it's a little bit tough to learn how to read. Man, that has served me well, and it was miserable. I griped and complained about it, but she did it anyway. So what I encourage you to do is, man, give them structure, give them discipline. Make them get off the phone and get off the internet and at least sit down and eat a meal. You know, make sure you're pouring into them. You know, my wife, one of the things that we've had this big argument about is, see, there's so much misconception out there about playing tackle football. I played tackle football from the time I could basically walk. And people, there's so much misnomers out there. You guys that coach and teach Little League football, man, God bless you. Man, my guys would come, you know, Mike McCarron, he's going to be out here for our Notre Dame game. He was my Little League coach. I'm flying out here. Bill Harbor, who's passed away. Those guys would come by and pick me up every day. And if not for the YMCA and the Boys Club, I could have never played anything. We didn't have any money. So, man, I'm so thankful for that. But you guys, we want to be a resource for you. It's important that if we have 1 or 2 people that are coaching things that are unsafe, because, guys, football is a contact sport. That means if you're running and slamming into people, it's probably not the greatest thing for your health. But there's so many great things that you learn from it. Got me? There's so many. People think that if you play football by the time you're 20, you're going to be truant. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. But, you know, we talk a lot of you guys about seeing what you hit. You know, lower the target, head to the side, right? Making sure you understand what kind, you know, just because we ran 80 wind sprints don't mean your kids need to be running 80 wind sprints. Give them discipline. Love them. Inspire them. Man, the great thing about sport is competing. And everybody doesn't need to get a ribbon. Winning matters. When you get in the real world, you have to win. And not everybody wins. Just because you try hard doesn't mean you get to win. Sometimes you can do everything right in this world and still get your head kicked in. So give them the truth. But I'm going to tell you this. I wouldn't be standing here today if not for my little league coaches, my middle school coach, and my mother, who every day gave me hard love and loved me and poured into me. If you read that Bible and you believe in that Bible talks about one thing. Talks about love. Talks about loving people. Talks about relating. That's why you put on this earth. I really believe that. Man, so pour into your kids. My wife doesn't want my son to play tackle football. Okay? Hope she's not in it. Because she sees me get out of the bed in the morning and it's not a real impressive looking thing. I've got some problems with my joints. But a year ago, my wife had neck surgery. She never played football. I've never had neck surgery. So I've never had anything like that. But what I see my wife doing is she says this to me all the time. Todd, don't expect him to live up to what you do. Tell him it's okay not to win. Tell him it's okay not to be the best. She says it's hard being your son. Man, I would look at that because we have a different opinion on that. But what I tell you, Mom, is that like Coach Patterson said, I'm telling you who was there for me and who's there most of the time, man, when the kids are crying. I remember when I was a little boy, man, I was scared to death, and I would crawl in there by the side of my mom's bed, and she would reach down there and hold my hand. You need to do that. You also need to give them tough love. More than anything, you got to believe in them. Man, I love my mom. She was unbelievable. I thought I was the luckiest guy in the world. And then I got to be successful. And I've gotten to take care of my mom. It's been the greatest joy in my life. Greatest joy in my life. So I'm telling you, don't just do what everybody else is doing. Give them structure. Make them read. Make them sit down and do those things. Make them put that cell phone aside. Help develop their character. Talk to them about those things. Talk to them about drugs. Right? Talk to them about morals and ethics and standards. You know, one of the things that I will tell you that's ingrained in me, and you guys that are standing here, I grew up in Southeast Dallas, and it was, if you guys know where Pleasant Grove is, Mesquite, you probably drive through there really fast. But what I'm going to tell you is that where I grew up, if I stood up here and told you, I said, the greatest thing I did in my life is not being All-American, not playing NFL, it's not win any football game, win a national championship. That wasn't it. The greatest thing I've done in my life is to be a dad. That's the greatest thing man, nothing is on the page to that, right? But see, I should say, let me tell you something else though. Let me tell you what's ingrained in me. The only thing, if I'm just being honest and transparent with you, the only thing that I failed in my life is being married. Because see, I should say the greatest thing you'll do in your life is to be a husband of integrity, is to be married 50 years. Man, is that not, if you think of a lifetime achievement, it's not win 300 football games, it's to be married 50 years. And being a dad is not paying child support. Man, it's being there. It's being responsible for your kids spiritually, mentally, physically, in every way, man. They will emulate who you are as a person and what you do, right? So that's the thing that I think are important. I can tell you, I want you not leaving here thinking that hey, I ain't no better than anybody. I fall short. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. Pour into your young people. Speak victory over them. I don't care what anybody else says. They can accomplish anything they set their mind to. Figure out a way. You guys that are Little League coaches, if we can help you to be a resource for you, let us know. Coach, what's the safe way to tackle? What's this? Talk to Coach Caston. That's what we want to do. We want to build a relationship with you, okay? We're fixed to play, a schedule. And today, there's probably not anybody out here that has recruits, that I'm recruiting right now, or that people, today is about the kids and about the future and making a difference. Because at the end of this day, at the end of your day, what's going to matter is your family and your faith. You just think about that. How much time do we spend on everything else? it's unbelievable. You know, I'm very blessed to get to do what I do. But most people, it ain't like what you see on TV. And there's a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of hours. There's a lot of things we do. And I'm so blessed to get to be a teacher. We're all teachers. Go out there, teach, pour into them, speak victory over your kids, give them the structure and the discipline that they need to be successful, okay? If we can help you in any way, let us know. Bring those kids that team walk. It don't cost you a dime, it's free. 2 hours and 15 minutes for every home game, right? Bring them out there right by the bus. They'll always get something free, okay? And man, we want to give them a wristband or a football, and maybe that'll inspire them to stay in school. Maybe that'll inspire them, you know, to make the best plays that they can make. If our players can come out, and one of the things our guys do, they go out in the community and talk to schools. If we can help in any way, that's what we're here to do. Very blessed to be here. I know this has been long. A lot of coaches talk. Man, I wanted to inspire you today, because if we can change one life, today was worth it, okay? God bless you guys.